Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Hivemind After Hours. It has certainly been a while since we have gotten to do this. I'm here with the normal crew, as per usual, Justin, Derek, and Jacob. And today we have with us Paul Bartolome and bass player Jay. How are you guys doing?
We're doing good. Thanks. Thank you for having
Thank you for joining us. We've been trying to get together to sit down with another artist or musician for months now, and it feels good to finally be able to get some insight on some music and what you guys have been up to. Um, so yeah, you guys just released a new song, "Monster." We're gonna get into that, and then have just some other general chat about what it's been like as a band and the music you guys are working on and stuff like that. Justin, Derek, Jacob, how you guys feeling tonight?
I'm feeling good. I just literally got home like 5 minutes before we started all this, so I'm still kind of scrambling. But I'm not dying like
don't break
I'm
your
not
car
dying.
next time.
Shush. I'm not dying like I was like the entire month of October, so we're all good.
I think that new car payment's gonna hit your bank account tomorrow, and that's when you're gonna be dying. You'll be like, oh shit.
You
And
assume I
I'm
win with
always
the
just
car.
scrambled.
Oh yeah, perfect. we're all thriving here at the Hive Mind.
I've exchanged it for a tricycle. That's got no payments.
Huh? you told us you were buying a car.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I got a motorized trike. He spent the past hour and a half dropping money on a motorized trike.
You know it.
And that's
God
why we call
bless.
him an idiot.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on.
I call myself that.
Moving on. If you want to keep up to date with us and the podcast, you can follow on Instagram and Twitter at HiveMindRadio_. Paul, if you guys want to advertise any of your guys' social media, go for it real quick before we get into anything.
You can follow us on what is basically the band account / my account is Instagram at Paul Bartolome Music. It's the only one with a blue tick, baby. There's been some fake ones, so it's the one with the blue tick. On Facebook at Paul Bartolome Music, which we just got officially verified on Facebook as well today.
Hell yeah.
Saw that. Congrats.
We just got verified on YouTube. Yeah, YouTube. So Paul Bartolome on YouTube, or you can go to where all our videos are. Not on my YouTube, which is actually it's on the label's YouTube / Paul Bartolome. Yeah, that's basically it. And then got all the individual guys. Jay, what's your Instagram?
It's Jay Street of Music.
You can go see that sexy fucker on there. You've got the drummer, my brother David at David Bartolome Music, and then you got my beautiful guitarist Ryan Thompson Music, I believe. So on Instagram. So that's all our tags. Nothing crazy, just all the simple stuff, really.
Jake, good luck finding all of that onto
I'll find them. Don't worry. They'll be in the YouTube video description. They'll be on.
That's a Jake problem. That's what we at the Hive Mind call a Jake problem. All right, all the editing.
We also actually have a TikTok that we're gonna start doing some content on, some fun shit. Now the studio's up and running. No dances. Well,
yeah.
It depends how this podcast goes.
Yeah, right.
We might do one, but yeah, and that's TikTok, Paul Bartolome Music. Paul Bartolome Music. So it's basically the same tag for everything. So just Google it and you'll find us.
Yeah, speaking of which, while we're getting to like your social media and stuff, might as well, transition into this. For those that are just listening and have no idea who you guys are, because I'm sure people like that exist, go ahead and just do a brief description on how you guys came to be, like the just formation of the band and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, so pretty well. I'll break down the long story into a medium short story. Started 4 years ago. I started 4 years ago with a guy known as Dave Escamilla, who was the ex-screamer for Crown the Empire.
Oh yeah.
Me and him got working together, started a band called Bad Fortune. That went on for a year. We released 2 songs. During that process, I started my own solo with the likes of Craig Mavitt, Teddy Smith, Gustav Wood, JT Tolles, Philip Strands, Monty Money, a bunch of other people called Gravity. Bad Fortune didn't work out due to the pure, I'm in the UK, he's in Dallas. And that was the reason that didn't work out. It was the scheduling and the money to get out. And it was just too conflicting, so that didn't work. So then we parted ways very amicably, and yeah, so that happened. Then I started Gravity in 2000. What was it? 18. 2018, my solo album Gravity came, which was the first release of the Paul Bartolome. It did well. It was surprising, and to me, as I was kind of going to drop it and kind of then just dip from music. Really, that was my plan, but it did well. Fans liked it. I gained a good fan base from that whole process, and then I went to Matt Good in America to do my second album, Screaming Through the Radio. I signed a record deal with Legend Recordings. Meanwhile, this was all still just me as like a solo act. So I wrote everything and played everything. And then we did a tour after signing the record deal, and I brought on my brother to do drums live, and then I brought my guitarist Ryan on to play live, as I can't play every instrument live. And then I liked, yeah, you go, yeah, I can't be the whole band, have like cymbals between my knees and shit.
Yeah, I imagine that being a little bit difficult.
Yeah,
No idea how you did that by yourself.
Yeah, so we came to the conclusion that let's do it as a band, and I just really, on that tour, loved the idea of doing it as a band. It kind of felt right. I loved the album I did with Matt, Screaming Through the Radio, which just hit, well, not just hit, but has hit, was it on like 1.1 million streams now, which is crazy for me. Not huge numbers to a lot
That's
of people.
wild.
To me, that's fucking awesome. We had a great time in Arizona. We did the whole album, believe it or not, in a week.
Damn.
Which was stressful as bollocks.
I bet.
Matt Good was, I think he just come back from, I can't remember if it's Thailand or Japan. He came back from somewhere, and I know he was jet lagged, and he was literally falling asleep on the first day at the console, but still made the mix sound banging. So that was hilarious. Yeah, so we did that, and my guitarist Ryan was actually with me, just tagged along to America just to kind of experience it. And then, yeah, like I said, we did the tour, and then we had another tour booked. Lovely guys, Dead Girls Academy. That fell through because the pandemic, and then so on and so on. I hadn't planned on writing another album. The plan was to tour Screaming Through the Radio, which I've only done once, and that was 3 months before the album actually came out. So I've not toured it since it's been out. And then the plan changed. The plan was to tour for 2 years, then write another album, and then during the lockdown, a lot of crazy shit happened, a lot of personal shit happened, and I just felt like writing. And now and I ended up just kind of defining a sound, as I feel like Screaming Through the Radio was kind of more like a compilation album of all the music I like. Like there's a song called Burning Skies that's a straight summer pop song that I did with a crazy pop producer. And then there's a song like Roll with the Punches, which is a hard rock song. So it was a kind of a mix of all the music I liked, and we just wanted to define the sound that is Paul Bartolome. And I think after the tour, I took my favorite parts of what we did on tour and because we played some of the songs a little different, maybe amped them up a little bit, more guitar work. And I like that. So I kind of sat down, decided what I wanted Paul Bartolome to sound like. And then when I started writing, it kind of all just naturally flowed. Still got some poppy melodies, but the instrumentals definitely got a lot harder. We'll get into it, but there's some crazy shit on the album. There's a part in a song that I just got the final mix for today that I didn't ever think I'd have anything like that on Paul Bartolome track, and I'm extremely excited about, and I know everyone else is. And then yeah, so we started writing the album, and then just started reaching out to features, etc., which we can talk about. And then yeah, I just made the decision to just make it official. Let's do it as a band. You know, let's
Right.
Everyone after the tour we did, everyone kind of knew us as a band because they knew us from the tour. So a lot of people were saying, "Oh, it's Ryan from Paul Bartolome's band, and it's David from Paul Bartolome's band." And then Jay wasn't in at the time; he was actually in the crowd at the tour, but he's always been in the music videos as the bass player. And with this album, it's funny because on Screaming for the Radio, the bass was all programmed along with the drums. Actually, like I said, we did the album in a week. I wrote it obviously for like a year, but the album was actually recorded in a week. So Matt Good programmed the bass for me, he programmed the drums. Time, save time, and so I don't lose out on the many thousands I spent on that album. And yeah, I just kind of made the conscious effort that this album was going to be all live. Like I wanted crazy guitar riffs. I wanted Jay to come in, and I wanted him to do live bass. He was in the videos anyway, so I was like, boys, let's just do it as a band. I didn't want to change the name, which was you'd start from scratch. It was a bit of a debate trying to convince the label, just because of and it makes sense. It can be confusing because obviously it's like my name, but then it's promoted as a band, so it is confusing.
Right.
It's like, oh, but the way we see it is, does it matter if anyone else has done it? No, it's music. It's not hard to quickly explain. It's Paul Bartolome, and that's all of us. We're the band. It's Paul Bartolome, the artist is now me. Jay is the bass player. David is the drummer. Ryan is the guitarist. But if we made a band name, the 4 years of hard work I've done and the charting success and the places we can get to, like playing Inkfest in America and some of the shows and tours we could do, would now be lost because we're starting from scratch, and all the numbers.
Exactly. Yeah.
I've not worked my ass off to then just change it. So yeah, it may be confusing, but it's not hard to just quickly explain. All the profile pictures are us as a band. So if anyone asks, Paul Bartolome, the artist, is us. It's a band. We're just not changing the name because it's just pointless at this point. And also, it's still me that is the songwriter. So it's still very much my baby. These are my, all the ideas you're hearing and songs themselves are written by me. But now it will just be like there's a whole band behind it, like the actual playing. It gives a whole new vibe. It's so much more fun, and yeah, I think this album is like a perfect. I kind of describe this new album as a perfect blend of my sound before with like a new sound, which is just a fun hard rock killer. It's just a killer rock album, I'd say. So that is basically the history of Paul Bartolome in the 4 years I've been doing it, and
4 years summed up into like 7 or 8 minutes. That's
exactly.
how it is.
Have you guys seen the movie Spartacus?
Yeah.
I really like the idea that it's like, which one of you is Paul Bartolome? And there was the one guy said, I'm Paul Bartolome, and then the bass player and the drummer, and no, I'm Paul Bartolome.
No, it's a Spider-Man meme with everyone just pointing at one another.
Yeah,
True.
exactly.
That too.
I think it's going to become a lot more apparent because we're kind of just running with it a lot. This album, and we're only 4 singles in, so it's getting a lot more apparent now. All the profile headers and the Spotify headers are changed to a band, and now we've got a studio to film content, and it's going to be very much like run like a band account where I can post something of Jay playing bass without having to put this is Jay playing bass, like it is, and he's from the band. Like everyone knows that now, so we can just post it like any band post their bass player playing. So it's getting there. Yeah, that's like a brief 7 or 8 minute cut down version of the history. But the history of where there's so much more bullshit in between, but that's the best bits I've put out for him.
Yeah,
for sure. I know that you just mentioned that it was a very clean cut hard rock album is what we can expect from this the upcoming album.
Well, I wouldn't say clean cut. So this album is everything I've wanted to make from an album. All I'm gonna say, as far as an exclusive, right now.
Ooh.
This is where a red dot appears on my head.
Right, exactly. The labels like listening through the wall. They're like, "Don't you do it?"
Yeah,
it's all right. And anything that just be cut out, that's Jake's problem.
yeah. So I'm not. I won't say who, but I've had a list since I started music of people I want to work with who are on like a bucket list.
Mm.
And I can safely say on this album, I've officially confirmed one bucket list person that's always been on there, and I'm very close to closing in on a second.
That's exciting.
Ooh.
That's very exciting.
That would be, and I can also say that they were both at the very top of the list. So I'm very excited, and I can also say that there are going to be at least just in case everything falls through, but at least 9 guest vocals on the album.
Holy,
Nice.
that is what I like to hear.
Yeah.
Is that including Kellen, Letdown, and Kibuki?
Yes, yeah, that's including them. So
Okay,
I think
yeah.
that's including them. There is, and Danny Warsnop, yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Yep.
I forgot that. You guys
so
are including that one.
Yeah, so there is there's officially 9, possibly 10 guest vocals on the album. There's going to be one feature that a lot of people are going to be happy for, just because of anyone who follows me will know. So that's going to be a fun one. And the announcements will be coming soon. Full album announcement, full tracklist announcement, full guest artist announcement is coming very soon. And it is definitely not a clean cut hard rock record because you have songs like Medicine, which is it's like a pop rock Santana track, but kind of Santana if he did go hard rock, like the drums are still like hitting hard, the guitar.
I see. Ooh.
So but I will say that there is some, and this is going to surprise a lot of people, but I'm stoked about it. There is some heavy moments on the album. I think are going to take people by surprise, but at the same time, it's definitely a very big, huge choruses, very catchy, very, very guitar driven, and also drum driven. And there's a lot of bass riffs actually on this album. Everything has a moment to shine. But yeah, I'm particularly just excited about one part because obviously when you get new mixes, you always get excited about that one the most. But there's one part that I think is going to blow people's minds when I hear it. That I've done that, and I know that the band are excited about it, and I think it's going to be killer live. So yeah, it's a hard rock album. I would say is like the quickest way to describe it, but there's so many more layers to it than that.
Yeah, I
We
mean,
are
like,
beyond excited.
yeah, I mean,
Oh yeah.
you were mentioning on the big choruses. I don't know if we want to get into talking about the new song Monster, but
Yeah.
that song certainly has a huge chorus. I
Yeah,
don't know.
there's a whole story about that chorus. I can go into it now. I've had a few drinks. So yeah, if we want to dive into Monster, we can jump straight into Monster. Yeah, so Monster was the I'm gonna say I think it was the second track that I actually wrote for the album. I mean, bear in mind this album has had, would you say, 3 albums worth of songs. That's not where we've had a couple of different recording sessions. Like me and the boys went away we rented a house in the middle of nowhere in the Cotswolds, here in the UK, and it was just this giant house in the middle of nowhere, nothing around for miles, and we just set up 2 studios, and we were there for ages, just hashing out these songs and recording them. And I think from that session, probably less than half actually made the new final record. But Monster has always been on every version of the album. Monster has been on since 2000 and when did I start writing? 2020. Criminal was during the first tour in March 2020. So yeah, since 2020, Monster has been one of the ones that has always been in the track list, no matter what changes we've made. And the chorus was originally the pre-chorus, and there was a different chorus. And then I just felt like the pre-chorus was so strong and different. And I think at the time I was a bit worried about doing a chorus like that because it was a bit too different for me, like a different vibe. Like the kind of wordier chorus, the kind of like heavy like guitar instrumental, because the pre-chorus, the instrumentally was very different. It was a lot more pop actually at the time. And then I kind of took myself out of the screaming through the radio stage of writing, and I took myself into a kind of new phase, which this album is very emotional, very honest, which I've never done before. Really, I've never actually done an album that's very honest and emotional and personal to me about actual life things. Like, I mean, there's a song on Scream for the Radio called Moonlight. It's about a werewolf, and I'm not a fucking werewolf, so
Not yet.
You know, so it's that, and I love Scream for the Radio, but what I'm trying to say is like, I went a lot deeper on this album, and I felt like the vibe when I've written the lyrics needed that heavy guitar backing behind, but with a lot of space. And trust me, live, this one's gonna be nuts. Monster's gonna be nuts. So yeah, it was the second song I wrote for the album, and it kind of set the tone for the rest of the album. And I will say, this has been a favorite of nearly everyone's whenever I've shown people the album, until I've shown people what the final album is. This is very much up there, Monster. But yeah, I can say this is just a taste of what the album's going to bring, because it gets a lot crazier from here.
When I first listened to Monster, my immediate thought was Holy Water from Screaming Through the Radio. Just kind of the atmosphere was kind of similar to me, at least from the teasers. But once I got kind of a couple more listens to it, it kind of became its own thing.
Yeah, I think it's because Holy Water was the darker vibe off of
Mhm.
Screaming for the Radio, and it's funny because Holy Water had probably just as many changes till it got to the final version as Monster. Like in Monster, the bit with Kid Bookie was not there. The breakdown was not there. It was a solo, and it kind of got to a point where I was like, it kind of felt like I was getting. I wrote the song and I played it really safe, even though I wanted to go a bit further. And I just threw a solo in, and every time I listened to it, I just knew that I was like, God, I'd wish I could just do like throw in like a big hype build up that would be sick for live after, because we'd just done the tour, so I knew it was popping live for us. And I was like, imagine a big build up, and then we just drop into a breakdown. And but then I was like, but maybe not, because Screaming Through the Radio wasn't really that. It wasn't that kind of sound. And I went for the Scream Through the Radio route where I did like the big rock solo. And in the end, I just thought, and there's a lot of things with this album where I thought, fuck it, let's just, if I want to do it, if this is going to be like, I want to make this my like defining record for who Paul Bartolome as an artist is and who Paul Bartolome as a band is, even if it's not my most successful record, I mean, so far by the numbers, it is going to be. But I mean, like, even if it wasn't, you know, like, say it got one stream so far, I'm still going for that thing. Like, it needs to define who we are as a band, even if it's just within ourselves. So when we listen to it, we're like, oh, this is who we are. So no matter what the commercial success is. So yeah, I can see that for sure with Holy Water and Monster. Definitely have the dark vibes and the kind of weirdness to like the verses and shit. So yeah, I can definitely see that.
So speaking of all of it translating well into like a live setting, I want to talk about Inkcarceration, right? Like how was that festival experience? Was that y'all's first festival?
So Inkcarceration, talking about that festival gives me PTSD.
Oh, well,
Right.
maybe not then.
No, so I'll explain. So we found out about Inkfest, and I was extremely excited. I mean, I was the main act on stage 3, which was sick. I was like, I'm a main act on my first ever festival, and I've only
Right.
ever done one tour. Wicked. Then I found out 3 months before, oh yeah, you need work visas to play.
Oh,
And
oh
I was
no.
like, okay, easy. And then I realized we needed lawyers to do that. And then I hit up the lawyer firm. And then 3 months later, when it came to Inkfest, I was $13,000 short because I
Jeez.
just paid the legal fees. And then on
Right.
top of that, I was we had to go to Barbados for 17 days to quarantine. No, 10 days to quarantine to then go from Barbados into America to play the festival. And Barbados is not cheap. So
Right.
we had an apartment on the beach in Barbados, and the plan was get the visas. It was all very like very close, but we were like, sweet, we've got our meeting on this date. We'll get the visas in time. We go to Barbados for 10 days. We go to America from there. We play the festival. We come home. Perfect. Sounds like a dream. And then it turned out that the visas last minute were not done in time,
Oh no.
and we were not allowed. We were not allowed to play the festival because we would not be able to get into the US. So in the end, we extended our trip in Barbados to about 17 days and just hit the drink fucking hard.
Fuck yeah.
Fair enough.
Bear in mind, we were just drowning our sorrows, and I was drowning my bank account because I was 13,000 short to play one festival. But what I will say, I don't know. So it would have been amazing. We had the perfect set list. Monster was in it. We practiced. I mean, we had this. We've been practicing the set list since the Danny tour got announced for April this year. Danny Warsnop tour I was going to be on.
Mm.
Then I was going to do the Danny Warsnop tour, and then straight after the Danny Warsnop tour was the Dead Girls Academy tour. Then I had a couple months off. Then it was the Inkfest. Stacked year. So it didn't turn out that way. So all
Right.
I can say is we've been practicing we've just been going into rehearsals and running the whole album now, as well as the whole. So any tour we get, we are so tight and so ready to just play. But Monster would have been nuts at Inkfest, but there's time. It's going to happen. So you'll see. It's going to be a mad live one. There's a lot of other songs in this album that this is very much a live album.
I mean, yeah. Well, when the alternative to Inkfest is 17 days of drinking in Barbados, besides the debt, I feel like there's only so upset you can be. Like I think I
Yeah,
speak
I
for
mean,
everyone here when I'd say I'd dig 17 days drinking in Barbados.
yeah, I
Absolutely.
will say every morning when I woke up and looked out on our beach apartment at the view, I wasn't sitting there going, "Well, shit, I wish I wasn't here."
Yeah.
And the best bit is I actually finished the album. I finished the album in Barbados, which was amazing because it was kind of like I've been doing this album for 2 years, or we all have as a band. I was writing for a good. I'd say I was writing for a good 6 months before we went and recorded.
Yeah.
I had demos, but I had 3 album worth of demos. Showed the boys, and then obviously we did our full writing trip where we went to the Cotswolds, the big house where we just set up 2 studios, which I got a ton of footage of. Rented a cinematic camera and shit, and we got a load of footage. And then I did a bit while I was on tour. So there's been bits in nearly every place in Europe: Paris, Marseille, Edinburgh, Manchester, Liverpool. Did nearly one chorus every time we did a video shoot, which again was Liverpool and Manchester. And then to top it off, I finished the album completely, and the album is officially done. And I did that in Barbados. So to sit there and look out at the sea view while I did the final mix note for the album was a really cool feeling. So it definitely had its positives, and I was definitely not sad about it.
So, in speaking of touring, right? If you guys could set up your dream tour, what's the lineup looking like? Who are you bringing along?
Well, Jay, you can answer first because you're probably gonna be very different to me. Who would your dream tour be?
That's a pretty hard question.
It is a hard question. I know who I'd do, but who would you?
I think I'd say Arsenal just for like purpose, the criminal life. With
Yeah,
That makes sense.
Well,
That makes sense.
I
Yeah.
mean, we probably well, spoilers in case that tour does happen, but we probably would have done Criminal on the Danny Warsnop tour,
Yeah.
as it was out. But,
I mean, yeah,
Yeah,
makes sense.
wait, but who would headline? It's a dream tour, so anything
Dream
goes.
tour.
It's a weird headline, obviously.
Yeah, we'd headline.
Okay, so you can have 3. We're headliner, asking a main support. So who you putting up as the opener? Brutal.
Yeah, who's opening up?
Who are you going for? That's hard, isn't it? Hard thing. Probably Green Day for you, isn't it?
Yeah, but them opening would be a bit.
Yeah, but it's a dream tour. You can do what you want.
Oh, fuck it, yeah, Green Day.
Okay.
That bill. I like that bill a lot.
I'd fucking pay for that tour. I mean, I don't know how many Green Day fans would be happy we were headlining.
Yeah.
they're like, what the hell? For me, it would be a dream. That is actually quite hard. Actually, think about it now.
There's so many bands.
Yeah, a dream tour. I know, a dream tour for me. Asking would be cool because obviously being friends with Danny now and
Right.
all the songwriting stuff we've done together now, and that would be cool. But I feel like, who knows, that may happen anyway. That may happen anyway. So I'm trying to I'm trying to think outside the box. Obviously, a big one would be 30 Seconds to Mars.
Ooh.
That would be huge. That'd be huge. I think we
That's a good one.
I think we kind of not steal the crowd. That's pretty cocky, but no, because they obviously do more of their pop stuff.
Yeah.
But if we came out and did like a blend, I feel like we could get a good reaction. Because if the Call-In tour was similar, they came out and did a lot of pop stuff. We came out and did Scream for the Radio and did some rock stuff, and everyone was loving it. Yeah, yeah.
It is
So I
also a
think,
dream tour, so like
Exactly.
it would just work.
Yeah, I would say
It would have to work.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'd say 30 Seconds to Mars. I would say, but I kind of, for me, I would actually put 30 Seconds to Mars as the headliner so I can get off stage. No, I've had a
And
good
watch
show.
the set.
Yeah, watch the set. Because if you're headlining,
Yeah.
you don't have time for that.
Mm.
And then I would say, after that, I would have Hollow Undead would be fun.
Mm,
Ooh.
that would
That'd
be an interesting pick. Yeah.
That'd be fun. And then, like, just for nostalgia, like, Fall Out Boy's the opener.
Hollywood Undead. Hollywood Undead.
The contrast between Green Day, Hollywood Undead, 30 Seconds to Mars.
I mean, that sounds like a festival lineup. Green
Oh, it
Day,
sounds
Hollow
like,
Undead,
yeah.
Andrea, 30 Seconds to Mars, and Paul Bartolome.
Money.
I'd
I'd pay for that. Fuck yeah.
I would pay for the
It's
flight
true.
wherever it was.
When
Okay, so
when are we getting the Paul Bartolome cover of The Kill? That's what I want to know.
Ooh.
Oh, I've done one. I've done a couple.
Wait, what? All right, hold on. No.
No,
This
it's not
thing.
up. It's not
I'm
up.
gonna need-
It's not up.
Oh,
Wait,
I was like, I need the link right now.
Like, I can list like a million covers I have on my laptop that I've never released. We've got. I don't know if the label released it. I think the label will probably release some of these. I know Purple Rain by Prince went up the cover.
Ooh.
I need a cover of that. I've got a cover of The Kill. I've got a cover of there's another 30 Seconds to Mars song I covered. I love 30 Seconds to Mars. I've got a cover of I've got a cover of Moving On by Asking, but I did that with Danny at the video shoot for Criminal. So I have a cover of me. It's not really a cover. It's just me and Danny Warsnoff at the piano singing "Moving On," like Asking Alexandra's song,
Oh,
while we
sounds
looked
really
into each
cool.
other's eyes and.
Gazing lovingly, right?
Exactly. We almost turned that picture. There's a picture of it, and we almost turned it last year into a Christmas card.
That's an awesome backstory.
Yeah.
If that were to happen.
I've got a lot of fun stories about that video shoot. I've got loads of covers. And there's a few coming out. I've done with this wicked DJ, good friend of mine now, DJ Xavier. And some people will know it's on some of the DJ stuff's on my Spotify purely
Yeah,
just 'cause-
I've seen some of them pop up on my Spotify release.
Yeah, a
radar.
lot of them now will be on a Peers on. It was more just we let it go on my actual Spotify because before we started releasing any of the album, it was just to kind of keep our name out there, you know, keep it relevant. And then now the album started dropping, it now just goes on my Peers on. But that's a lot of fun work. And we actually just did a Queen cover, Who Wants to Live Forever, where I basically sing the song and then he kind of turns it into like a remix dance drop at the end. But the majority of the song is just me singing. And that song just went number 3 on Billboard and top 40 and number 44 on the official UK charts.
Wow.
So I'm pumped on that. So there's a lot of covers coming. I think in the past 4 months, just for him alone, I probably recorded 58 covers. Like we've got some. Like, I'm not even joking. I've got Danger Zone, that classic. I've got Shallow from the Star Is Born.
Yeah.
films.
Oh, that's
We've got we've just keep an eye out. I'll post them on my thing. We've got a lot of really old classics coming out. We got a Billie Eilish one that's going to be. He's just gonna. I basically just sing the acapellas for him. He tells me what song. I make some money, and then he does a remix of it, and then we drop it, and they're all doing well, to be fair. So there's a lot of covers about to be dropped from now through to the end of next year. Some classics, some new, some like real wacky ones that you wouldn't expect. But I have actual covers I have done as well. I'll probably start posting on TikTok and socials. Just The Kill is one I really want to post. But there is another thing that I have done as well, but I'm not sure when I'll drop it. But there'll be some covers for sure.
I feel like covers are decently popular on TikTok. Like I don't really use TikTok,
yeah,
but I
that's-
feel like that's something that like has very real viral possibilities. So
Yeah,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
dude, I hate TikTok. I hate TikTok. I get sent a million TikToks a day. Jay sends me many TikToks and I never open them because I don't open anyone's TikToks because I only go on there when I get a message from management or someone going, post a TikTok and I'll post on social media and I'll be like, shit, I have this video, I'll post it. But I'm going to now I've got the studio and I've got the means to record content. We're definitely going to be getting some fun stuff that will be on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, all across. And covers is definitely up there, where I can just kind of do my thing, kind of show my range and voice and all that fun stuff.
No, that's awesome. You've got me like I'm feeling halfway seduced right now. Like you kept listing off artists and songs, and I'm just like, oh yeah. I feel like I'm Danny Warsnop, and you're looking into my eyes right now. That's,
I wish I could show you that picture. I don't know if I can send that picture on this chat right now. That'd be hilarious if I could.
Just send it in the chat. I'll superimpose Derek's icon onto it. It's fine.
oh, it's fine. I'll
Right,
mimic his
hang on.
pose. We can get it in there.
Add. Oh, hold the phone. I can actually add a picture. This is brilliant.
Oh,
Let me find it, dude.
That's
When I say I was
hilarious.
gonna turn it into a Christmas card,
Yeah.
I'm genuinely not joking. I did a Christmas post. You can go see it on my Instagram, where I actually have Christmas emojis and shit. And I actually asked people, and the amount of people that said, "Turn this into a Christmas card, please." But I don't think we had permission to do that.
that's fair.
But it's Danny. Where? I'm trying to find the. I'll just look for my photos. So basically, I'm finding it now. This is brilliant. I didn't know I could do this. This is going to be amazing. It's basically him at the piano, him looking. You can see him from behind. I'll tell the story of the picture before I send it. I've got the Christmas version. I'll send the original first, then I'll send you the Christmas edit.
Perfect.
Right, so I'm going to break down the story of the Danny Warsnop picture. It was a winter's morning. No, it was we were on the video shoot for Criminal, our song. We were jamming the piano, and he was playing. Was he playing piano or guitar in the picture? There it is. He's playing piano in the picture. Piano, yeah. We just finished Moving On, a song that I'd covered many years prior at a pub gig before I even did music professionally, and now I'm singing it with the guy whose song it is. I've just added it, I believe. I'm about to, but I can also add the Christmas version as well. Let me add the Christmas version as well. The little edit I did. I put a little hat on me. So yeah, it was a loving moment. We both looked into each other's eyes, and then I kind of do a cheeky glance away, as if to say, "Ooh, stop." And that is the story of that is the story, and that's history. That's it. These are the two pictures. Yeah, here we go. Uploading 2 files. You got the Christmas version. You got the one without. Maybe this Christmas we'll release it.
Jake will put it on screen.
Here we go.
I love the Christmas version. I am a big advocate. I love the presents in the bottom right corner. That is art.
That was me very bored one day. Just spending time doing that.
Some of the best ideas come out of boredom when you have nothing better to do and you just need something to kill and waste time. You know?
Oh, I definitely had better things to do. I just wasn't doing them.
Okay, fair enough.
Jake, wasn't the Hivemind based on boredom?
I mean, I had
Honestly,
like a
yeah,
million calls and meetings going on and like trying to write the album and people telling me to finish the album, and instead I was saying, 1 second while I add this snowman to this picture.
The proper response.
As a digital media guy, as a digital media guy, I definitely respect that because that happens to me sometimes too. I guess kind of to double back on the Danny Warsnop feature, are there any other features? Because you guys have gotten a lot of features with streaming through the radio and into the past, and with like Kellen Quinn on Time Bomb and stuff like that. Are there any other features that you guys have been like really excited about landing in the past? Not mentioning ones that could be on the album yet at this point, but
most fun to work with. Well,
definitely yes on this album, but yeah, I won't say them. The bucket list people are on this album. But I would say, if we're going for previous albums, been a lot. Philip Strand from Normandy has always been cool.
Yeah.
He's been on both albums. Monty Money from Escape Fate, now Beyond Unbroken. I went to his house in California. Went out to his for a week, wrote some stuff for him, and I did backing vocals on his latest album, which is called what's the album called? Is it the album called Nightmare? Pretty search it before I plug their album. As he's searching, the album is called Beyond Unbroken. Running out of time.
Oh yeah, I think we talked about that in like one of our first. We talked about that album in one of our first ever episodes. I think.
Yeah, that album that I spent ages doing that. I just got the name. But yeah, I did backing vocals across that album. So if you hear any nice oohs and ahs and harmonies, they are me. Monty was fun. He's been on 2. He was going to be on this record, but I don't know what happened. I think we ran out of time or something. It was something to do with that. But, and also, I think with this record, I really wanted to change it up rather than because I'd done 2 records where I had 2 of the same people on it, and with this one, I wanted it to be completely fresh. But shout out Monty, he's killing it. I think they got a new single out. But yeah, so I'm trying to think who else. Vidal Riley, who was on Holy Water. He's a pro boxer / YouTuber. He's KSI's YouTube boxing coach. For anyone who doesn't know, KSI versus Logan Paul, that big fight that happened. He was his coach. It was during that time. I got access to the press conference for that, and I also got access to his exclusive launch party for his album, where KSI was actually at, and I got a picture of him, chatted to him, and it was a good time. And I stayed in a ridiculously expensive hotel that I couldn't afford.
You turned that one into a Christmas card too, or?
Oh no, that one didn't work. That one didn't work as a Christmas card, but I have many pictures from it, but I wouldn't turn them into Christmas cards. Not that could be sold in the shops anyway. Trying to think of another. Craig Mabbitt was cool. Telly Smith was lovely.
Oh, yeah.
Gustav Wood was good. He was fun. I mean, I don't think I've regretted anyone. Oh, ha. I can't say who.
Yeah, careful.
I won't say who. On a past album, there is someone that I do regret. Actually, that was a terrible experience. But that's all I'll say. But I mean, I probably know who they are, but I won't.
Yeah,
I won't.
I have an idea.
Oh, do you?
Well, maybe, but I also don't want to say it.
I mean, I'd love it. Can you
got it?
Can you type it? Can you type it in the chat, and then will that
Sure.
come up on the screen? I want
No,
to see
no,
what
no.
you think.
I don't think so.
I'll say
I'm
no or
going
yes.
to- Okay, I'm gonna guess.
Yes,
guess.
yes.
Yeah. Okay.
so quick.
That's what I thought you were going to say.
So
That was too easy.
well, so part of it. Well,
But let me.
I'll do-
Okay, so I don't regret it because I loved what they did, and it was perfect. I don't regret that. The musical aspect was perfect.
my favorite song off the album, personally.
Yeah, a lot of people's, and so I don't regret that, but I do regret the process that went on for was meant to come first out, wasn't it? And ended up being a different song completely because it was so long. It was a long process, and yeah, so that was the regret. not a regret. That was like the most difficult. I would say.
Yeah, I got you. Well,
Whereas
that's
compared to this album, it's all been golden. So
That's good to hear.
Perfect.
That's good to hear.
but still, shout out to them. I won't say a name, but like they're still doing their thing, and I wish them nothing but the best. Yeah, the experience was fucking terrible. So.
Shout out to Redacted.
yeah. Well,
But
I don't think you're alone in that sentiment. I've seen the same thing expressed from other people. So know that your experience is universal.
No, yeah, it was definitely an interesting one. Enough said on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we talked about like a favorite feature or whatever. I guess for the both of you, off the new album, if you can reveal anything in terms of like titles of tracks or anything, what would you guys both say is your favorite song off the new album?
Or track number.
Track number we could also do.
Okay.
Make note.
Okay. Well, because there's so I can't say too much about the album. Or should I say albums?
Ooh.
That's probably too far. But no,
He said too much.
you said too much. No, we can say that because it leaves a bit of mystery. But you'll see the announcement's coming soon. There's quite a few songs, so I guess if we're just saying one or if it's different, two track names, I don't think it's going to matter too much.
Yeah.
So I mean, what I'd love to know. All it does is hype up the album. So what's your favourite song? You can't say the feature.
Top two. Because I don't think I could choose a thing.
Top two's then revealing two songs, isn't it? But what if your two are different to my two? Then that's four songs.
Oh God.
Math.
This fucking the release date, everything. do one and then I'll do one. Okay.
Favorite is probably going to be Oceans.
A song called Oceans, which has a cool feature. Ooh, that's a big.
I think
That's talking about 30 Seconds to Mars.
yeah,
Yeah.
straight vibes.
Oh.
Like old 30 Seconds to Mars, huge fucking song.
I thought you meant the
I'm-
feature for a second, and I was like, "Holy shit!"
Yeah.
No,
I think I have an idea of the feature.
Don't have $1 million in the bank to spend on that.
That was a really fun one to record.
Yeah, that was fun. It's a huge. That was really vibe because of we had all the lights, eyes. Yeah, that was a fun one. That's a huge track, and yeah, very old school 30 Seconds to Mars vibes with that one. And it's
Perfect.
probably one of the highest. I think I've even posted a clip of it.
I think it's the high.
I think it's one of the highest songs on the album. Like, we practiced it the other day. Cool. So that's yours. You can say why. You can't say the feature, but you can say why it's your favorite. Like, what about it's your favorite? That'll hype people up.
I was going to say about the recording process.
Yeah. There's a lot of fun bass.
That was a lot of fun bass. Also, the gang vocals we've done with playing Cotswolds for it.
Yes.
That was such a laugh.
Gang
Gang
vocals and
vocals.
anthemic like backing vocals are the key to my heart, so that is a good sign for me.
Oh yeah. I mean, there's a whole bridge that is just anthemic arena gang vocals. It's like it'll get your heartstrings going. This one, it's huge, isn't it?
It's proper like
It's the biggest song I've ever recorded.
I love that song. Like hearing the process and how it's grown from like the first demo to
Now,
now.
well, the first demo was like pretty much bare bones, like maybe a guitar, rough drums, whereas now it's like full orchestral, like anthem rock gang box. Like,
I think that this whole album in general.
yeah,
When you listen to it, I don't know, like when you listen to it, you hear a band behind it.
yeah, oh yeah. It sounds like a lot. It sounds like a band. It sounds like if you went to an arena show and we started we played the whole album because it ends on Oceans, so it's like the perfect ending to the album. So it's like we literally have put the track list in order of what would be a good show. So when you listen to it, you get that experience. You get the ups, you get the downs. It's like a story.
Interesting.
So Oceans is a huge one, but 30 Seconds to Mars, like huge rock, like that's all we'll say. That one's a big song. The bridge is one of my favorite parts I've ever written. Gang vocals are huge. And there's a lot of orchestral stuff, and it's just a very big song. And then my favorite would be taking a different turn. Probably one of the darkest songs I've recorded and written, lyrically and sonically. I mean, Monster's obviously pretty dark, but I'd say sonically this one sounds quite dark, and the lyrical content is probably the most dark. The darkest thing I've written is a song called Hypocrite, which is a very different song, which I think will be our opener live. It's a very different song that people aren't going to expect, but when it does hit, and also that's like the second highest I've ever sung. Yeah, that's a nutty one. People won't expect that. Yeah, they won't expect Oceans either. They're two songs I've never done anything.
Yeah, they're completely different as well. So different.
This whole album, I don't think I've actually done anything like this album properly, like this style. But those two in particular are different from anything I've ever done. So a song called Hypocrite and a song called Oceans.
That is certainly.
So we got to be on the lookout.
Yeah.
For Hypocrite and Oceans. You've done a good job on selling all of us on them, at least. So.
Dude, I'm excited.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and bear in mind that's two songs out of however many are on the album. But I can tell you it's a lot. I can say it's still a lot, even though there was talks of me containing the album because my first album was 16 songs, my second album was 15. So there was a lot of talks of, maybe standard industry stuff, 10 songs maybe. And I went, got you, I'm gonna do it. And then I told them the track list, and it was over that. Yeah, and I said, we wrote so many that I was like, this is the final album. It's more songs than requested, but when you hear the album, you're not going to care. And then they heard the album, they didn't care. They went, oh, fuck yeah, this is the album. So, there's more than 10. It's not one of the standard industry 10-song albums that comes out, and then you have to wait 2 years for more. And there's some other stuff. And there's a lot of stuff. It's going to be good. I've been working on it for 2 years. I've been writing 6 months, then we recorded for a year and a half. Yeah, a year and a half of actually recording 3 different albums, and now it's coming to one, and crazy shit. Yeah, long period.
So I think it's interesting that you guys talked about how those 2 songs are something that the band really hasn't explored yet, because that kind of leads into our second to last question that we had here, and it was, could we expect any new musical directions or experimentation on the album, and what would be creative directions that you guys would like to take with future music that you haven't been able to do yet?
Oh, it's hard to explain, but the directions are this album. There's a song that I debuted on a live stream about, when was it, the first lockdown? Before the album was officially going. It was literally written. This was the first song I wrote for the album before Monster, and Monster being the second. And I did it just for a live stream. And the song, I won't say the names, there was 2, but people, when they hear it, will recognize it until a certain point. And we took it in a whole new direction. That's something I'm really excited about. That kind of, there's two aspects to this album really. There's where actually I'd say there's three aspects to this album. There's it goes one direction, and you kind of think, okay, this is the kind of album it's going to be, and then it starts to go a very different direction. Yet
Just when
still
you think you're getting comfortable with what you're hearing, you switch it up.
yeah. So
Yeah.
you think so before you end up just thinking, oh, this is cool, and you end up just having it as like background music because you're now comfortable, and it's like, oh, it's a similar song. It goes like 2 songs in. It takes in fact, it's no actually saying that it starts where you're like, oh yeah, this is sick, this is familiar, and then it suddenly goes into a direction that you're like, what the fuck? I've never heard this from him before. Then it goes into another song that's like, okay, that's a complete contrast to that last song, yet it still fits on the album. Whereas for me, Screaming for the Radio, I love, but the songs were like, the point of it was to just showcase what I could do as an artist. So like, it would have a hard rock song and then go straight into a pop song without any like, it didn't sound like the same album. So if that album shuffled, I wouldn't know it's the same album. Whereas this one, no matter what direction we go in, there's similar sounds, similar mix. So every song sounds like it's off one album, but it just goes in so many, I think 3 to 4 twists and turns at least, where it takes a direction you're not expecting. And then even a song where you think that it is a song you're expecting, and you're like, you get halfway through and you're like, oh yeah, this is sick. I expected this. Then it suddenly like hits something and you're like, what the fuck is about to happen? And then it does something, you're like, wait, what? What has happened? And you're like, I didn't know they did this. And that's going from a guy who did Holy Water with a electronic drop. It's nothing like that. It's still a hard rock album, all guitars and rock, but you're just not going to expect some of the stuff we've done and some of the features we've got. And yeah, we've all the directions I've ever wanted to do with music, like professionally as a career, and with this album, it took 3 albums, but we finally achieved it. We finished it all the way up from Barbados, which was like a month ago, 2 months ago, 2 months ago. So from beginning of 2020 to now, we finally found the direction, and we're sticking with it. And I think people are going to be very happy. So you can expect the unexpected. Basically, I'd say expect the standard like big choruses and anyone who likes my style of writing vocals, that you're still going to hear the poppy vocal melodies and the catchy stuff, but just expect it with a twist and some stuff that you've never heard from me before. That is going to be your new favorite part of what it is we do, because this is now a band and we're bringing that energy, and the energy on this album needs to be played live. So that Danny Warsnop tour when it finally gets rescheduled will be mad. If we do Inkfest again next year, if get a ticket, but yeah, if we do it and a couple of other festivals, it'll be mad. So yeah, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. I'm really excited to share this album, and the announcement is right around the corner. This Monster was the kind of last step towards the album. So
Teaser.
yeah, the teaser. So we've got so far, anyone who's unfamiliar with the story, we've got the first unofficial single, which was meant to be a standalone, but we ended up putting on the album purely because 1, it fits the vibe perfectly of what the album is. It just fits the sound of it, and 2, it just made sense due to some other stuff we were having. So yeah, the first unofficial single for the album was Criminal with Danny Warsnop, but the first official lead single with the album was Time Bomb features Kellen Quinn, which was peaked at 24. Oh, read that. Yeah, peaked at 24 on Billboard, number 6 on the Foundation charts, which is FM radio, number 4 on Top 10 Greatest Gainers, and number 3 on Mainstream Rock Most Added, and is currently in the For Your Consideration process, which is 4 rounds in, I believe, for the Grammy nomination awards. So
Oh
yeah,
wow.
That's
so
crazy.
2 weeks time, we should find out if we do. Or if it is Grammy nominated. If it isn't, then it's still mad. We got 4 rounds into the Grammys. So
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
that's still
absolutely.
very
That's
impressive.
crazy.
amazing.
It's
everyone
huge.
fingers crossed, because in 2 weeks we could be a Grammy nominated artist. But yeah, either way, still mad. Second single was Medicine, fun summer. Santana meets hard rock, cool guitar work, and then this one, number 4, which was Monster, features Letdown, Kid Bookie, Dark Song, and all the visuals have absolutely been killed by. Do some shout outs quickly. Was Mike Cortada, who's done Papa Roach's artworks. He's mostly known at the moment for Ice Nine Kills his albums. He does all of their merch and all their designs. And shout out to Spencer and shout out to Dan and Patrick and Joe and everyone in the band, Ricky. Shout out to all of those guys on their album. Welcome to Horrorwood. They killed it, as they know. Mike killed the artwork for that, and I'm very lucky to have him. He's done Fallout Boy and all time. He's done everyone basically. So I'm very lucky to have him, and he's made. If you put the artworks together for the singles, and I'll post this at some point very soon. But if you want to do it yourselves, get a picture of the artworks, put them next to each other. They make one picture, which is very cool. They're all very they're all very alike, so they fit together nicely. It's a cohesive style, and then I can't wait to show what we've done with the album. So obviously the album artwork. So obviously it's a noticeable difference artwork wise for the one with Danny, but that's purely because that was going to be a standalone. But it is like an unofficial single, but it will be on the album because it just makes sense now. There was a lot of talks about it, but it just makes sense, and it was doing so well, so we just put it on the album, as I think it just fits so well. And also shout out to Ernie Slenkovic, who is Taylor Larson's assistant and engineer, and he's mixed and mastered the whole album. Obviously, shout out to my record label, Legend Recordings, and management, CB Entertainment, and all the guest vocals, which I wish I could list the guest vocals because there are some huge names on there that I'd love to shout out. But yeah, soon. But yeah, so that's kind of like the story of the singles and the sound and the new album that is to come very soon.
Oh, very, very excited.
Yes. So we talked about past few years. We talked about this year. What are the goals for next year?
I could tell you the goal for next year. Ruin. We are doing something very different, something very unique. Very unique. I don't know how many other bands, if any, have done this like this as a release plan for the album. But all I can say is it's going to be very unique, very different, very fun, very immersive, and very what's the word? Interactive. What's the word? Too many drinks, mate. Very interactive. To be very fun. So that's one of the plans. Be announced soon. It will all be announced very soon. So we'll see what I'm on. And then apart from that, touring the album, shows which are being worked on at the moment. We might have a few already booked and locked in and contracts signed or signed. And then we're booking up the rest. And I think it's been, like I said, a 2-year process for an album, which some people that's normal. For me, it's very not normal. Like to do, I mean, Gravity and Screaming for the Radio came out within a year of themselves, I think. So it's very, and I already wrote the Screaming for the Radio one about 2 months after Gravity. So it's been a very different process, and I'm very glad I've done it this way. So it's been a long 2 years, a stressful 2 years, an emotional 2 years that you'll hear on the songs. But we finally worked out who the band is. We finally worked out the sound, the imagery, the visuals, and yeah, we're ready to get this album out and just aim to tour it for the next 2 years. And I will say, anyone who thinks like, oh no, after this album there'll be no more Paul Bartolome music for a while. No, we have 3 albums recorded, so I'm sure there'll be deluxe. I'm sure there'll be deluxe. Yeah, I think there'll be some deluxe versions and because some of the songs that didn't make the final album, there are reasons why it didn't fit on the actual album, but it doesn't mean it wasn't a song that I want to put out soon. So there'll probably be a deluxe. Yeah, there's some great ones that aren't on the actual album, but the story of the album and everything just needed to be a certain way. But you're definitely going to hear some stuff, whether it's, I don't know, end of next year to the year after. You're definitely not going to be, skin on Paul Bartolome music, that's for sure.
That all sounds pretty great. I think that's kind of all we had to ask you guys. I don't know if there's anything else you guys want to talk about real quick before we start to wrap this up, but is there anything you want to share with the world that we have not been able to cover yet at this point?
Yeah, well, I mean, everything I'd share would be a spoiler.
Yeah.
It's so hard.
I was about to say alcohol and the red dot on your forehead.
Yeah,
Pending.
guys, is I think we need to get when it's announced, we'll jump back on so we can go through all the spoilers. If we can do another like podcast and chat, I would happily jump on and hopefully have the full band with me, and we can get a full interview once the album's like announced, and you can see the track list, you can see the features, you can see the names, you can see the release plan, and then I'd love to jump on and get in-depth chat with the full band about the everything that's to come, really, because then we can jump into spoilers, direction, everything. So it's a bit hard when you're in the build-up to an album because you can't
Right.
Can't say so.
Yeah, obviously everyone's heard Monster now, killing it at the moment. So please, please, please go stream Monster with Let Down and Kid Bookie. Stream Medicine, Feel Good. That's gonna be a fun festival song. That's a huge live.
The opening riff to Medicine is so fucking good. That shit like had me hooked instantly.
Yeah, it was
I
really
mean,
good.
that's what I mean about the direction is we've gone different routes. Like it was very different for the album. That's a very different song for the album, but it's works so well with the album still because it's still very guitar based and it's still the drums are still very drivey and yeah, it fits well. And then obviously Time Bomb is absolutely killing it, and I can be more thankful for that song, which is such a personal song. So I couldn't be more happy that one's really taken off for us. Yeah, we'll definitely have to jump on when it's all been announced. We can then just dive into spoilers and all that fun shit.
Yeah, of course. The space is always open.
Hell yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Alrighty then, I think we should start wrapping things up. I know it's very late for you guys over in the UK at this point, so
It's like if my drunk eyes serve me right, it is two in the morning.
yeah,
Dude,
yeah.
it should be
That's
2:13 for
crazy.
y'all. Yeah. You guys are troopers. Thank you for sticking around.
No
Of
worries.
course, I'm kind of used to it at this point now. Whenever I set up these things, I see the time. I'm like easy, and I always forget. I'm like, oh shit, it's American time. Isn't it?
All right, before we end off for sure, if you want to follow the podcast and any other shenanigans we're up to at Hivemind Radio _ on Instagram and Twitter, Hivemind Radio on YouTube and Spotify. Paul, if you guys want to shill social media again.
Yeah, I'm just going to do the main ones. Well, pretty much like on Instagram and Facebook, Paul Bartolome Music. There's only one, so if you see any others that don't have a blue tick next to it, just go to one with the blue tick. DMs are always open. Hit us up. Emails are always open. If you've got any questions or if you want to just hit us up, and I always make sure to get back. We always make sure to reply. If it's not that day, it will be the next day. So we answer every single person that messages. So send in your messages, send in your questions or whatever you got, but show us some love. And yeah, keep an eye out for all the teasers and announcements coming real soon. So we're about to be flooding you with announcements. Follow us on Spotify, stream us on Spotify, stream us on Apple Music. Bartolome. Yeah, really.
Awesome. Well, I hope that to anyone listening to this episode that you guys are excited for what Paul Bartolome and the crew are dropping in the coming months. I definitely know that I'm definitely a lot more intrigued in what you guys have cooking. Hope that the audience agrees.
I agree.
Time will tell with coming announcements and whatever. But that's going to do it for this episode. Thank you guys once again for joining us and chatting about the new song
cheers,
and everything.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Cheers.
Yep. Thank you for
Absolutely.
listening. Have a good night, everyone.
And
Have a good
you.
one.
Cheers. Bye.
Goodbye.